the Bible.
In the beginning.
But Abraham.
Moses looked back at those who followed him.
We've seen Canaan. It flows with milk and honey.
And Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, she judged Israel at that time.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Bible Broadcasts, vintage stories and hymns from the golden age of radio. I'm John Henderson. Join me as we travel through the Bible from beginning to end, as heard over the airwaves of the 20th century. After the events of the last episode, Joshua led the people of Israel into the promised land of Canaan. With the help of God, they conquered the walled city of Jericho. They settled there in the land of Canaan, but chose not to drive out all of the Canaanites as God had commanded. As the years passed, Joshua grew old and died, and the Israelites began worshiping the false gods of the Canaanites. So God delivered them into the hands of Jabed, the king of Canaan, who enslaved them. Today we continue with the story of Deborah from Judges 4 and 5. It comes from an old-time radio broadcast on November 3rd, 1957. The biblical account is actually quite short. The dramatization expands the story and adds many details, like Deborah having a vision and coming up with a military strategy. All in all, though, it's a great story that's not very well known. But before we hear the story, open your hymnal to number 147, Standing in the Need of Prayer, from a different broadcast on the same day as our story in November 1957.
Not my brother nor my sister, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not my brother nor my sister, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Oh yes, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not the preacher nor the deacon, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not the preacher nor the deacon, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Oh yes, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not my father nor my mother, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not my father nor my mother, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. I know it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Standing in the need of prayer.
And now today's story.
My name is Deborah. I'm old now, very old and very tired. You wouldn't think it to look at me. But once I led a great army of Israel into battle. Yes, many years ago, I carried a shield and a sword and wore proud armor. It was the armor of a warrior, but it hid the heart of a lonely, frightened woman. when I was young, before the battle of which I speak, my name was known even then throughout the land. For I was a judge and a prophetess. I lived with my children and my husband Lapidus in a pleasant grove of palms between Ramah and Bethel, and the people came to me for judgment. I gave counsel, made decisions, and offered help and comfort wherever I could.
I want my rights, nothing more.
Well, what of my rights? Must my family starve in order to satisfy you?
Please, each in turn.
It's a very simple matter, Deborah. Isaac's field is next to mine. Now, there's a stream that crosses my land, a little stream, hardly more than a trickle. The rains have been slow and the land is dry. I need every drop of water I can get, but Isaac wants to dam the stream to provide water for his oxen.
But how can my oxen live without water?
That's not my concern. Look, I'm a poor man, my own beast of burden. All I take into the field are these hands and this back.
Isaac, is there a well on your land?
Yes, Deborah, but it is nearly dry. There's barely enough water for my household, let alone the oxen.
Oxen? If you can't keep them, sell them.
But I'm an old man, Ephraim. I cannot work in the fields with my hands like you do.
I'm sorry, the stream belongs to me.
Isaac, Ephraim, instead of fighting, why don't you share your strength? Help each other.
I don't understand.
You need water from Ephraim's stream. He has no oxen of his own. Perhaps in return for the water, you will allow him to use your oxen to help him plow.
Oh, well, what do you say to that, Ephraim?
It makes sense. I would be willing, Isaac.
So would I. Of course, we would have to arrange certain times for you to use the oxen and for me to use the water.
There was much suffering at that time, for Israel was under the heel of a tyrant, Jabin, the king of Canaan. His captain was Sisera, a cruel and violent man with a strong army and many chariots. And for 20 years he ravaged the land.
Open up!
Who is it?
Tax collector, open the door.
Well, there must be some mistake. We paid our taxes just a few days ago.
How's the last week's taxes? This week's 2 more than or half a ton of grain.
2 more? But we have no money and barely enough grain to last us the winter.
Do you defy the edict of the king of Canaan?
No, of course not, but...
Guards,
How can
go
you-
through the house and seize everything of value.
No, wait, you cannot. You don't understand.
Where are you taking him? Where are you taking my son?
To the mines to work. He's indentured to Sisera.
The mines? But he's only 12 years old.
Don't worry, he'll age quickly enough when he gets there.
Oh, no, you can't take him, please.
Get out of the way. I have my orders.
No, don't take him away!
Day after day, year after year, Sisera's terror walked the land, and everywhere the people went in fear. As for me, because of my high position, my family and I were left in peace. So we sojourned quietly in our pleasant grove of palms near Ramah and Bethel, and no harm came to us. But I knew of the suffering and I wept for Israel. What more could I do? You wish to hear of the battle? Oh, yes. I remember it quite clearly. These days with Lapidoth dead, and my children gone to homes of their own, I have little else to do but remember. It began, I suppose, the day that Aaron of Kedesh came to see.
Peace be with you, Deborah.
Aaron, peace be with you. It's been a long while since your last visit.
At my age, my dear Deborah, the years are a heavy burden to carry even on the shortest of journeys.
Well, what brings you here now? A quarrel with your neighbor? A dispute over lands, perhaps? Or a flock of sheep?
No. Something much more serious.
Something serious?
A man named Sisera.
I sit in judgment on the people of Israel, not on Sisera.
Deborah, if this man continues, there will be no people of Israel.
We've suffered him for almost 20 years and managed to survive.
Yes, but each year it grows worse, and each year we get weaker. Our sons are taken away. Our wealth is drained. Whole villages are deserted. And our people live in the hills like beasts. Little by little, Jabin and Sisera are destroying us. Can't you see that?
Yes, of course. I see it, and it frightens me. What will happen to us, Aaron? What will happen to Israel?
There is still time. We can still save ourselves, but the tribes refuse to act. Sisera's agents play one against the other. They promise special favors. They fill the air with rumors and suspicion. They do everything they can to keep us divided and helpless.
Why do you tell me what I already know? What can I do?
You can rally the tribes and unite them against Canaan.
But I'm not a king or a soldier. Why come to me?
Because you're a judge of Israel, loved and trusted by the people. You're the only one who can make them listen and act.
Aaron, you ask too much. What you have in mind uniting the tribes calls for great strength. The strength of a man.
No, Deborah, the strength of the Lord.
I don't know. It's strange you're coming here today.
Why? What are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of a vision I had last night. It was a sort of dream. Yet not a dream. And in it, I seemed to hear a voice. And it said, "Awake. Awake, Deborah. Awake. Utter a song. Arise and lead thy captivity captive."
Perhaps your voice was the same which summoned me.
Perhaps.
How will you answer it, Deborah, with deeds or tears?
No, not tears. Not any more. God willing, I'll do as you say, Aaron. Summon the kings of each tribe. Call the princes, all of them. Issachar, Barak, Heber, Gilead, Zebulun, Reuben, Asher, Naphtali.
Yes, that's how it all began. Aaron of Kedesh sent swift messengers to each of the tribes. And soon my lovely, quiet palm grove, the heart of my safe little world, was filled with the noise and confusion of a great encampment.
Deborah, what foolishness is this? How can we oppose Sisera's army?
Do you consider it foolishness for us to want our freedom?
No, of course not. But we're not prepared for this venture.
I agree with Heber. Sisera has 900 chariots and we have none. People of my tribe are farmers. Can they oppose trained soldiers with their scythes and plowshares?
And besides, if we try to resist, it will only make matters worse. They'll take revenge, and we'll suffer all the more. It's best to leave things as they are.
But, Heber, don't you see? This is the trap of tyranny. For 20 years we've left things as they are, and each minute we bleed more of our strength away.
No, I want no part of this. It can only end in one way, death and defeat. Israel is not strong enough to fight, not now.
That's true.
Barak, what do you say to Heber's argument?
The people of Heber's tribe are shepherds. I say he's lived so long among his flocks, he's become a sheep himself.
What?
Deborah, is this why you summoned me, to be insulted by a fool?
Better a fool than an old man who trembles in fear of Sisera.
Barak, Heber, this is no way. Hear me, all of you, kings and princes of Israel. The time to fight is now, before it is too late. The tribe of Barak stands with Deborah against Canaan.
My tribe does
not.
When everything was said and done, Barak stayed, and with him the tribes of Issachar, Zebulun, and Naphtali, in all a host of 10,000 men. Many refused to join us, but those who did were strong and without fear. From every part of the land they came, from the olive groves, the harbors, the fields, and the villages. From everywhere they came, with a single purpose: to make Israel free.
Deborah, our men are encamping on the plain of Zaanaim. Some have brought their own weapons with them, and other weapons are being forged as quickly as possible.
I wish we needed more weapons for more men. Our army is badly outnumbered.
With the help of God, we'll prevail, Aaron.
Yes, with the help of God.
Barak, you're troubled. Is anything wrong?
No. Oh, that is... Well, I've been thinking of what Heber said about Sisera's chariots. 900 of them. And each one carries an archer with 40 arrows. Maybe Heber's right. Our people have never fought against such an army. Perhaps when we meet him on the plain, Sisera will scatter us like chaff in the wind.
Then why not meet him where his strength will be of little use?
What do you mean?
Instead of waiting on the plain, our army can gather on the slopes of Mount Tabor. It's steep and rocky there. Even if Sisera had 9 times 900 chariots, they would be useless on that kind of battleground.
Barak, the idea has merit.
Merit? Why, it's a wonderful idea. Hey, now that I think of it, there's a bend of the River Kishon which flows around the north slope of Mount Tabor. If we can draw Sisera's army into the right position, we can drive him into the river. Chariots and all. The way I see it, we can show ourselves at first and then pretend to retreat. Part of our men will wait in ambush. After we lure him into the trap, we can close in from several directions.
Barak was fired with enthusiasm for the new scheme. For many days he conferred with his captains and planned the details of battle. As for me, I was quite ready to return to my peaceful grove of palms. Battles were for men, and my work was finished at last. Or, so I thought.
Gilead, come in. I've been waiting for you.
I came as quickly as I could, Heber. Your messenger said it was urgent.
Very urgent.
Barak, huh?
Gathering an army at Zaanaim. 10,000 untrained farmers and fishermen, some who've never seen a battle in their lives, to fight against Sisera's 50,000 soldiers and 900 chariots.
Barak and Deborah are insane. They'll destroy themselves.
And all the rest of us, Gilead.
What do you mean?
When Sisera finishes with Barak's army, he'll turn on our tribes.
But we've denounced Barak. The Canaanites know that.
Do you think it will matter to a man like Sisera? This is what he's been waiting for. Our only hope lies in preventing a battle.
Well, how can we do that? Barak's a fool, but he's a stubborn one. We'll never be able to discourage him.
No, we'll never be able to dissuade Barak.
But what about his men?
His men?
No captain can fight without an army. Our problem is to destroy it, to cut the ground from under him before it's too late.
Well, how are we going to do that? With words?
Yes, Gilead, the right kind of words. We can send trusted men of our own tribes, carefully picked, into barracks' ranks. Outwardly, they'll be no different from all the others, but their mission will be to sow doubt and fear. We can confuse his soldiers, weaken their morale, get them to desert. It's the only way we can stop Barak and save our own necks.
It might work at that.
It will work, Gilead. Now, according to my idea, we'll choose our best men.
So Heber's plan was launched. Unknown to Barak or myself, his men entered our camp as our iron, and slowly the poison began to spread.
We're outnumbered. Our weapons are inferior. It's hopeless.
But Deborah had a vision just the other night. She told us she saw the Canaanites in retreat. We were victorious.
Come, man, you're a soldier, a realist. Would you put the nightmares of a foolish woman above Sisera's power? We have to do the fighting, not Deborah.
I'll take my chances. Barak is a great general.
Yes, but I heard from a traveler, from his own lips, mind you, that Sisera's anger is past all bounds. When he's finished with us, he plans to turn his soldiers loose to pillage and burn and kill every living thing. I tell you, it'd be best if this bloody battle were never fought.
I hear that in each of Sisera's chariots, there's an archer with 50 arrows. They say in each chariot there's an archer with 60 arrows.
Did you hear? They've got 70 arrows in each chariot.
100 arrows.
It began, and it spread, and soon doubt flowed through the veins of our army. With the doubt came fear. With the fear came despair. And with despair came flight.
What is it, Aaron? More desertions?
200 men during the night from Barak's own tribe.
200.
It's rumored that twice that number will leave today, the Kenites. I can't understand it. Why should this happen? Why should our army melt away on the eve of battle? Everything is ruined.
Perhaps if I went and spoke with the soldiers
No. You can't build an army's courage with pleasant talk. Not even yours, Deborah. Of all the weapons we forged, courage was the strongest, and we've lost that.
Heber and the others will be very interested to learn of our defeat.
Israel's defeat. I can't understand. If only there was some way.
Bring that man in here.
Barak!
What's happened? Who is this man?
The source of our infection, Aaron. One of Heber's tribe.
Heber's? But that's impossible.
The camp's crawling with them, sowing fear and panic, getting our men to surrender before the battle's even begun. Heber and Gilead are behind it all. They wanted to weaken us. I recognized this one and forced the story out of him.
What we did was right. Your puny little army could never have defeated Sisera.
You condemn us for trying to save Israel?
How can you save a nation by destroying it?
We're not destroying it. Israel's being destroyed by Heber and Gilead, and men like them. Frightened men who spend their lives on their knees.
Heber is no coward, Barak. He's careful and prudent. And he speaks with the tongue of reason.
There comes a time, my friend, when reason must give way to faith.
Well, no matter. It's too late now. Sisera's army is almost here. Now our soldiers have no heart for fighting. The damage is done. We're defeated by ourselves.
No, by our arrogance, Aaron. Perhaps we tried too much.
Don't speak that way, Barak. There's still a chance. There must be something we can do.
Yes. Yes, maybe there is one thing. Deborah, go with me to Mount Tabor.
What do you mean?
It was your vision which helped to make this an army. Your presence in the battle is the only way to keep it an army.
I don't know.
Certainly not. I forbid it.
Deborah, this is your decision. If you go, I will go, and Hope will go. If you decide otherwise, I'll order the men to return to their homes. I won't lead them to suicide.
No, Deborah has done enough already.
Is Israel is dying, Aaron. How much is enough?
But you're a woman. Fighting is a man's work. It takes the strength of a man.
Once you said that I needed the strength of the Lord.
But, Deborah...
Barak is right. I'll go. The people believe in me. If I am with them in this, it will be a sign that I believe in myself, and in them, and in Israel.
I never heard such ideas in my life. A woman has no place in this. How can you think...
Aaron, my mind is made up. Now, Barak, bring me armor, a helmet, a sword, a shield, quickly.
Almost before I knew it, I was burdened with armor, the armor of a warrior. At Barak's right hand, I walked to the foot of Mount Tabor. And for the first time, I learned how heavy a sword could be, and a heart. But when we came in sight of the encampment, and the soldiers saw me, a great shout arose. It was the sound of many voices, but to me it echoed a strange voice I had heard once before in the stillness of my quiet palm grove.
Awake, awake, Deborah, awake. Utter a song, arise and lead thy captivity captive.
Our soldiers waited on the slope of the mountain, according to Barak's plan, and before long Sisera's troops appeared. Then, with fear alive in my heart, I was suddenly swept into battle.
Hear, O ye kings, give ear, O ye princes. I, even I, will sing unto the Lord. I will sing praise to the Lord God of Israel. In the days of Shamgar, the son of Anath, in the days of Jael, the highways were unoccupied, and the travelers walked through byways. The inhabitants of the villages ceased. They ceased in Israel, until that I, Deborah, arose, a mother in Israel. They fought from heaven. The stars in their courses fought against Sisera. The river Kishon swept them away, the ancient river Kishon. O my soul, thou hast trodden down strength. Then were the horse hoofs broken by means of their prancings, the prancings of their mighty ones. So let all thine enemies perish, O Lord. But let them that love thee be as the sun when he goeth forth in his might.
The outcome? We won a great victory, and Sisera's army was completely destroyed. He himself tried to escape on foot, but was slain by Jael, the wife of Heber. And Israel was free once more. Free after 20 years of bondage. Of course, all that was a long time ago, and there are few people still alive who remember it. As for myself, I often sit here in my quiet grove and think of Israel and its future. At times, I have visions, and in them I see great trouble and great triumphs in the years that follow. I see Israel suffering the yoke of many Siseras and many Jabins, but always victorious. because of the strength and the faith of her people. Not just her men, but her women too. Women of whom I am one. I, Deborah, I am Israel.
Thank you for listening to Bible Broadcasts. Enjoy this week's closing hymns.
Sound the battle cry, see the foe is nigh. Raise the standard high for the Lord. Gird your armor on, stand firm, everyone. Rest your cause upon His holy word. Rouse them, soldiers, rally around the banner. Ready, steady, pass the word along. Onward, forward, shout the loud Hosanna. Christ is captain of the mighty throng. Strong to meet the foe, marching on we go. While our cause we know must prevail. Shield and banner bright, gleaming in the light. Battling for the right, we ne'er can fail. Rousing soldiers, rally round the banner. Ready, steady, pass the word along. Onward, forward, shout the loud Hosanna. Christ is captain of the mighty throng. O thou God of all, hear us when we call. Help us one and all by thy grace. When the battle's done and the victory's won, may we wear the crown before thy face. Rouse them, soldiers, rally around the banner. Ready, steady, pass the word along. Onward, forward, shout the loud Hosanna. Christ is captain of the mighty throng.
Next week on Bible Broadcasts.
Samson has some unknown power. No man can stand against him.
Perhaps he'd fall before a woman.
Delilah.
Even Samson's strength must have a weakness. There isn't a man in the world who will not share his secret with some woman.
This one is clever, Arthur. She speaks truth. More men have been trapped by smiles than by ropes.
I can deliver Samson to you.
Such devotion touches me, Delilah.
I will learn the secret of his strength.
Don't miss any episodes of Bible Broadcasts. Subscribe to this podcast now. Thanks.
Oh!